Let me show you how to turn some simple guitar chords like this into a beautiful R&B sample like this. All my latest breakdowns and cookups have been like over 20 minutes long with crazy string sections or complicated bridges. So in this video I want to turn it down a bit and just focus on the beauty of simplicity. As you heard, there's not too much going on in the sample, but I think it sounds really beautiful. And I think the most important thing for simplicity in music is a strong idea. So instead of starting with the same random chords again, try to spend a little bit more time on your initial idea to make sure you start with something that immediately resonates with you and that gets you excited for the sample, like from the very first layer. In this case, it was these beautiful chords on my acoustic guitar. As you can see, nothing crazy at all, but I just really like these chords and the voicings. Next, I actually added the bass line. The bass doesn't play a big role in this at all, but I was hearing a little rhythm for the bass, so I just wanted to record it immediately so I don't forget it. Then I wanted to add some atmosphere and depth to the sample. I could already tell it's going into that slow, intimate type of direction. So instead of using keys or a pad, I wanted to add a choir. And I promise you, you don't have to be able to sing at all for this. I'm literally the worst singer I know and I made it work, so you can do too. So first I drew the chords into the piano roll with 4 notes for each chord. And I pitched them down like 5 semitones, I think, just so I can hit the notes better. Then I just muted all of the notes besides 1 for each chord. And then just tried to sing these notes. Like that, I ended up with 4 voices for each chord, which always works for a beautiful choir. Additionally, I was hearing a very simple melody on top, and I tried to sing that in as well. Then I pitched all the layers up to the original key again. And when you do that, you gotta make sure to use the Stretch Pro stretching mode. That way you can keep the more natural sound of your voice even when you pitch it up. But after the pitching and lots of tuning because of my bad singing, the little lead melody wasn't sounding much like a vocal anymore. So I just recorded some more layers for the exact same melody, this time in the original pitch to keep it more natural sounding. I panned all of these layers a bit differently to make it sound wider, and then routed them all to the same mixer track. The most important effects on there are the effect rack preset, which gives it much more presence, and the Fruity Convolver for a natural small reverb. With these vocals I had a beautiful atmosphere, but also a bit of like a motif with the little lead melody, and I wanted to emphasize that a bit, and for that I added just a very subtle sparkly layer by layering a Glockenspiel sound and a piano sound. As the last layer for that section, I used my electric guitar. For the sound of that, I turned the tone knob all the way down, which pretty much cuts out the high frequencies of the signal. That way I get this smooth, really muffled type of sound. Then I played around a little while to make sure I find a melody that fits the sample perfectly and also gives this sexy R&B kind of vibe. I pretty much played the same 2 phrases twice, just with a bit of variation. Then I wanted a little transition to the next section, and for that I used some strings. It's incredibly simple, it just starts with one note that kind of swells in, and then I went along with the chords. And on top of that I just used a little string layer one shot. If you want stuff like that string layer, for example, but also tons of other accents, phrases, percussion loops, one-shots, just cool shit you can drag into your samples to immediately spice them up, you can check out my Lucid Weekly 2025 pack, which pretty much contains all the sounds and samples I made this year. There's over 500 sounds in there and I used them all myself, so if you want to check that out, the link is in the description. For the next section I wanted to go along with the little vocal melody again, and I used my electric guitar again. I remember I saw that Lockbox video and there was this guitarist, he was using his pinky on the volume knob and that way he made the notes fade in, which I thought sounds so dope. So I tried to do that as well, and I fucked up the recording, it was way too quiet. So instead I just played the notes normally like a loser and then added the fades in FL. Personally, I can never go without a Sine Lead in a beautiful R&B sample. And there were 2 spots at like the end of every 8 bars, I think, where I felt like there was enough space to add something. So that's where I added a Sine Lead. I just played in very simple downwards kind of melodies and used my pitch wheel for very subtle pitch wobbles. The sample actually has a third section, but there's literally just the guitar and the vocals, so nothing new there. Lastly, I just added some vinyl crackle, of course, and a little bit of an intro. For that I recorded some bass notes walking up to the first bass note of the sample, along with some swells and chimes, and also a little drum fill, which I think gives a really nice contrast because it kind of gives this expectation that there's something big, something energetic coming, but instead it just drops into this very slow, smooth, mellow type of sample, and I don't know, I just really like that effect. Lastly, I just pitched it up 2 semitones, and that's a full sample. hope this video could help you or at least inspire you. Let's just quickly go over the most important things again. First of all, for something simple, you need a strong initial idea. You also don't want to add too many layers on top of each other. I think this sample has like 5 layers playing at once. And obviously for that you need very strong individual layers, so make sure to put some time and thought into every layer, because when you have really good sounds and melodies, you don't have to stack tons of stuff on top of each other to make it sound good. And one last thing I haven't mentioned before is pauses. If you paid close attention, you maybe noticed that there are some little pauses in the sample. For example, in the middle of the first part, I'm taking out pretty much everything to let the lead guitar shine for a moment, or on the transitions between the sections, I'm taking out the main guitar chords. So yeah, pauses are just great to make the sample breathe a bit, and it's a perfect technique you can use to keep your sample simple and make it feel like there's something new happening without actually adding anything. So I love to use pauses usually on like the end of every 4 or 8 bars, or to emphasize certain elements in the sample by taking out everything else. And yeah, I think that's about it. Again, if you like the sample, it's part of my After Hours Volume 2 sample pack. Links to that are in the description. Let me know in the comments if you want me to break down any other samples from that pack. Check out my Lucid weekly pack, all the links for that are in the description as well. And yeah, thanks for watching.